What's going on, guys? I'm SimpleSimon. I'm your action figure noob, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a DC Multiverse figure I picked up for less than $10. So down here in Australia, DC Multiverse figures normally range anywhere from $40 to $50, I guess depending on where you buy them from. Normally $40 to $45. The retailer I picked this up from is no longer going to be stocking McFarlane toys, so they started clearing out a whole bunch of DC Multiverse figures for $9.99. And me being me, I was lucky enough to get them for $7.80. So I really wanted to pick up a DC Multiverse figure for $7.80. There wasn't a lot to choose from, but I did find one that I did fancy. So I picked up this Grifter figurine for $7.80. I just was absolutely stoked. Grifter's a pretty cool looking character. I thought it'd be a pretty cool figure to add to the collection. So today we're going to be unboxing this and having a good look. Okay, before I open this figure up, I thought I'd give a little bit of a background on Grifter, just in case you don't know about Grifter, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about Grifter, so this is going to be very brief. Grifter was a character created by Jim Lee, and his first comic book appearance was Wildcats issue 1, which was a series created by Jim Lee for Image Comics. His alter ego is Cole Cash, who is a mercenary. Now, I believe because Jim Lee was one of the founding members of Image, all the founding members had their own comic labels. So Image Comics didn't own the rights to the Grifter and the Wildcats character. Jim Lee owned the rights, I believe, as part of his Wildstorm Comics label. Wildstorm Publishing was eventually sold to DC, and that's how Grifter ended up in the DC universe. Now, I know DC had, I believe, his own solo title miniseries a long time ago. I never read anything with Grifter in it until he started showing up in the Batman ongoing series, and that's what it says on the box here. They've actually labeled him as Grifter from the Infinite Frontier. I believe he showed up possibly even during the Joker War storyline. It was definitely while James Tynion was still writing the book, I believe. So that's the little history I know about Grifter. He is a very cool character, but like I said, I don't know a huge amount about him. So let's take him out of the box. There he is there. Really good looking figure. Now, one thing was there was two of these on the shelf, and the first one I picked up while I was waiting in line, I actually noticed an imperfection on him. On his mask here, he actually had a little bit of paint speck coming off. I took a photo of it, so hopefully I'll be able to show you that, but I'm glad I noticed that before buying this, because I ended up picking up the other one on shelf, which didn't have any flaws on the mask there. So we'll take him out and have a good look at him. So there's the card that comes in the box, just an image of the figure there. I know sometimes they actually put some art on there, so that's an interesting choice. And obviously the stand. Can I get these stands from anywhere else? Just because I don't like damaging the packaging, so actually I haven't taken any of the stands out of my Multiverse figures. Let us know if I can get stands elsewhere. So he comes with two weapons. Here's the first one. He's got a little samurai sword there. Now, Grifter normally has guns, but of course McFarlane don't do guns. And then he's got this little Rambo knife there as well. So all knifed up. Let's have a look at the figurine. Can't really complain about the way he looks. Like I said, there was that imperfection on the mask on the other figure. But this figure looks pretty good. Nice detail there on his jacket. The crinkles there, so we'll look at his articulation. His head's going to be very limited, I can already tell, because of his obviously collar, and his mask is really, his head's really just stuck in between. His head's got no place to move there, so it ain't going anywhere. So not much in the way of head articulation there. His arm, ooh, wow, okay, so that's probably the loosest arm I've ever felt come out of a box. So that arm goes up to about there. Yeah, that's a really, really loose arm. I've never felt one so loose before. His right arm is kind of loose going that way, but then I can't seem to, there you go, it's really tight going outwards, but rotating is very, very loose. This arm is just loose all the way, so that's interesting there. His elbows go to about there, so you can get full bicep flex. Look at that. Oh, that's pretty cool. You can look like he's kind of doing his jacket almost. So that's kind of cool. Ab crunch, a little bit, but obviously that's about as much as you'll get there. It doesn't go back much because obviously his jacket's going to get in his way. Let's look at his legs. His legs kick up to about there. Again, his belt and stuff is kind of preventing him from going any further than that. Go back about that far. Let's check the other leg. The other leg's very loose. Again, that's a very loose leg. So that goes up to there. Back to about there. We'll look at the knee joints. Both knees go pretty good. Double jointed knees there. So I mean he can get pretty That's a pretty good little action jump pose there. So, and then his feet. Yeah, this is like the loosest articulation I've ever felt coming out of a box. So he's got ankle pivots as well. So articulation on this is pretty good. I don't mind the looseness. This arm is probably a little bit too loose, but I quite like the leg looseness on this. So yeah, that was that. So here's some size comparisons. This is him standing next to my McFarlane Batman from The Flash. This is Grifter next to my Ned B droid from Star Wars Black Series. Here he is standing next to the very tall and lanky Spider-Punk from Marvel Legends. And lastly, this is him standing next to my Thanos from SH Figure Arts. And lastly, we'll just bring the measuring tape in, and he stands a little bit above this 7-inch mark there. So yeah, overall, a really good looking figure. I'm starting to really just like characters that look cool, because as a toy this dude looks really cool. So I'm going to try to put him into some poses. Again, if you guys have watched my previous toy videos, you'll know that I'm not very good at posing them, so we'll see how we go with this guy. Okay, honest opinion on this figure. Actually, one thing I did forget to do on the articulation test is his wrists kind of have this going on, but they actually don't. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't seem to turn them, pivot them at all. They kind of just go up and down like that. I can't really get any sort of pivot, which is really bizarre. It doesn't make any sense that they wouldn't be able to do that, but yeah, that was something I picked up on later on. But all in all, I actually really like this figure. I think it looks fantastic, but as I said, in my short time in unboxing, I've never had a piece just be so loose in the box. So this arm is absolutely really loose. So that was a little bit shitty. Everything else is actually pretty good. His articulation is great. Like I love the collar pose that I was able to do with him. Like that is super cool. So yeah, I really dig this figure. I definitely say his head movement is a little bit limited, but all in all, I think he's a great looking figure, and I'm really glad I picked this one up. And for $7.80, I mean, absolute steal. Anyway, that's all I've got for this one. If you guys are still watching this video, I really do appreciate you. Make sure you give the video a like, leave a comment. I'm really enjoying doing the toy content at the moment, so expect more toys on the channel, and obviously the usual stuff, comic books and everything else. If you are new to the channel, check out my toys and collectibles playlist. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But until next time, I'm SimpleSimon. Tell your friends and keep it simple.